Hello and welcome to Tech on Tech, the only show that takes you to the future. You know that the future is tech, don't you? So that's how you're sure that you're in the right place, because we let you explore the exciting world of technology. My name is Stephanie Ayeta and the hashtag is Tech on Tech. It's always a pleasure having you around, and as usual, we have an amazing show lined up for you. But before we get into things, let us talk about the marriage between education and technology. How do you feel about this? Do you prefer the old school traditional way of schooling, where you go to a physical class with physical books, do physical exams, and there's library over there? Or do you prefer the EdTech way of schooling, where there's e-learning, e-books, online exams? Which between the two do you prefer? Talk to us. The hashtag is Tech on Tech. We'd love to hear from you. And as we do that, let me take you to the tech news, where we update you on what has been happening around the world. Here is Tech News. Video sharing platform TikTok will soon introduce a new vanishing clips feature similar to functions on Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram. This will allow users to see content posted by accounts they follow for 24 hours before they are deleted. This came the same week that its rival social media platform Twitter shut down its fleet's disappearing story feature. Ilya Brown, Twitter's vice president of product, said in a statement in July that they hadn't seen an increase in the number of new people joining the conversation with fleets like they had hoped for. TikTok will be the latest major social media platform to experiment with this feature that was first made popular by Snapchat. TikTok spokesperson said they're experimenting with ways to give creators additional formats to bring their creative ideas to life for the TikTok community. The feature was highlighted by social media consultant Matt Navarra, who shared screenshots of TikTok stories on Twitter. Huawei has seen its biggest ever decline in revenue in the first half of 2021. This is a result of the US sanctions that have crushed its consumer division. It has been more than 2 years since Donald Trump blacklisted Huawei, which prevented the company from buying important parts and components from American companies without US government approval on claims that it posed a national security threat. The sanctions make it hard for Huawei to buy components and software using US technology. Revenue from Huawei's consumer electronics arm, which includes phone, fell by 47% to 135.7 billion yuan. The sanctions have also effectively prevented Huawei devices from working fully with Google Android's operating system, prompting the firm to expand the use of its own Harmony operating system. Huawei is no longer one of the top phone vendors globally or in Europe. Sales have also suffered in its home nation. For the first time in 7 years, Huawei is no longer one of the top 5 phone vendors in China. With profits in its mobile business falling, Huawei is turning to other income sources, from cloud computing and wearables to smart cars. It is also pushing into more traditional industries, including pig farming and coal mining. The creators of the South Park cartoons have signed a $900 million deal with the US media giant Viacom CBS. The pair are also set to create more than a dozen spin-off movies for Viacom's Paramount Plus streaming service. The first project of the deal will be a South Park film scheduled for release later this year. The agreement, which runs to the end of 2027, includes 6 seasons of South Park TV show and 14 movies. The deal with Parker and Stone is the clearest sign yet of Viacom CBS' growing commitment to Paramount Plus. The streaming service trails the like of Netflix and Disney Plus, but has added millions of subscribers since it rebranded in March. Viacom CBS is looking to the addition of South Park movies to accelerate its growth. The series remains the most popular TV show on Comedy Central. As giant media and technology companies compete in the streaming wars, the value of franchise like like Southpack has soared to record heights. Few, if any, production teams have managed to capitalize on the changes in the home entertainment landscape better than Parker and Stone, who own 50% of all online rights to the show. Southpack has now been on air for 24 years, making it one of the longest-running series in TV history, outliving every program on Comedy Central except for The Daily Show. Along the way, Parker and Stone have maintained the quality of the series, not to mention their sanity, in part by sticking to a schedule. They only make between 6 to 10 episodes a year. Each season is produced over a course of a few months in Los Angeles. If you're a TikToker, you must be very excited about this new story feature, because I am. It's about time TikTok finally came around. Moving on, let me take you to Tech of the Week. Do you remember the time we did a feature on electric cars? Well, many people are fascinated by it, and today we bring you a feature on electric bicycles. This will blow your mind. I'm curious to know which one you prefer between the two, but of course, you'll have to say it first. Here is Tech of the Week. Major bike manufacturers are waking up to the profit potential of electric bikes and are introducing their own lineups. Here's what you need to know about e-bikes. E-bikes aren't new. They've been around for decades, and if you live in China or Europe, e-bikes are probably already a way of life for you, but it wasn't always that way. For years, European e-bikes were used primarily by people 65 and over. As such, e-bikes had the unfortunate reputation of just being for old people. E-bike manufacturers have been laboring to tamp down this perception, and it seems like it's working. Young urban commuters in Europe are finally giving e-bikes their attention. One of the first patents for a battery-powered bicycle was registered in 1895 by an inventor named Ogden Bolton Jr. His idea was simple but quite interesting. A DC electric motor installed on a bike's rear wheel hub, the motor could take up to 100 amps from a 10-volt battery, which was placed under the horizontal tube of the frame. There was no gearing system or pedals. Bolton didn't actually end up making or selling any of these bikes, but amazingly, some of the same design details can be found in e-bikes today, a rear hub motor with a battery centrally mounted in the frame. Generally speaking, e-bikes are bicycles with battery-powered assist that comes when you pedal or, in some cases, use a throttle. Pushing the pedal engages a small motor which gives you a boost so you can zip up hills and cruise over rough terrain without breaking a sweat. Twisting a throttle does the same with no pedaling necessary. There are two main motor types: the mid-drive motors with the motor positioned in the middle of the bike, usually between the pedals, and the hub drive motors, which are located in the center of either the front or rear wheel. Hub drives have been around forever and tend to be cheaper and more versatile. They are excellent motors for anyone needing a reliable e-bike for long, mostly flat commuting. Mid-drives are usually smaller and lighter and can allow great torque than hub drives, making them particularly well-suited for hilly areas and off-road use. The centered position on the bike also creates a more balanced ride, and changing a tire on a mid-drive bike is usually less of a pain. E-bikes tend to use different types of sensors to determine how best to dole out power. There are two types: torque sensors and cadence sensors. Torque sensors regulate the motor based on how hard you're pushing the pedals, while cadence sensors work off of how fast you pedal. Most good bikes use torque sensors, while low-enders have cadence sensors only. A lot of bikes use both. You should also know your classes. There are three classes of e-bikes in the US. Class 1 is pedal assist with no throttle. Class 2 is throttle assisted with a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. And Class 3 is pedal assist only, no throttle, with a maximum speed of 28 miles per hour. In Europe, pedal assisted electric bikes with 250 watts motor capped at 25 kilometers per hour are treated as regular bikes. Above that, there are two regulated classes: L1 EA electric electric bikes can have up to 100 watts of motor power, but they require registration and insurance in some areas. This category includes electric cargo bikes popular with families. L1 EB e-bikes have 100 watts motors and are capable of going 45 kilometers per hour. They are basically mopeds that require a helmet and can't be ridden on bike paths. In general, e-bikes capable of 25 kilometers per hour are called pedelecs from pedal electric bikes, whereas the faster 45 kilometers per hour bikes are called speed pedelecs. Electronic bikes lower the barrier to biking, making it easier for people who are older or more anxious about stresses and strains of biking to justify riding. You're most likely to ditch your car or delete your taxi app if you know you can get to where you're going faster and more efficiently without getting overly tired or sweaty. That has been Tech of the Week. How cool is it that you can get from your home to the office without a sweat, faster than some cars, and without experiencing traffic? What I love most about it is that it has no age limit. If you're retired, I just said something without saying something. Anyway, it's about time I took you to the interview segment with Grace Gidaiga, who has an amazing discussion for you on EdTech. Here it is.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that bit. My name is Grace Gidaiga, and welcome to this interview section where we break down technological concepts and debates in an untech way using an expert. In today's program, we are looking into matters technology and education. EduTech, what is it? And in the studio to help us understand what this is all about, we have Maxwell Kayesi. Maxwell is a teacher at Karuri High School in Kiambu County, and he has been involved in a lot of technology and education. Maxwell is actually was awarded the Head of State Commendation of the year in 2018 or 2019?
2018.
2018 by the Head of State, and he's also the Innovative Teacher of the Year. He got the Innovative Teacher of the Year award in 2018. Karibu sana Maxwell into this program. So you will be telling us everything education. Now, before we go into actual examples, can you please break down for us what is education technology?
Yeah, thank you so much, Grace. Hello, viewers. Education technology, we can say that it is the use of software and hardware together combined with theoretical approaches and practice that are designed to enhance teacher-led learning within the classroom, and therefore be able to bring out the learning outcomes for the learner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell us from a practical perspective, because we see that you are the Innovative Teacher of the Year award, and you also received the Head of State Commendation, HSC, for your work in technology. Tell us more about that in a practical way.
Yeah, thank you. Being an innovative teacher is not just a mean achievement. You have to go out of your way to embrace modern approaches of teaching in classroom. And based on the traditional way of teaching that most teachers are accustomed to, where the teacher is the only source of knowledge, the classroom lecture method, being an innovative teacher, you let the student take the show. You want to bring out a more of a learner-centered kind of teaching and learning process. So most teachers and probably most people think that when you say you are integrating technology, it's a complex thing. You need computers, you need laptops and all that. But integrating technology in classroom can be as simple as using your mobile phone. The mobile phone, especially the smartphones, are the greatest tool that teachers can use to really change their way of teaching in classroom. We have issues to do with digital divide here and there, access to infrastructure and all that. But being innovative means taking those simpler things of which you can use in classroom and using it extraordinarily. For instance, when I travel as a teacher, I do it on my behalf and on behalf of my students. So it means that teaching in a school that the community and probably the parents are not well off means that these students have not even traveled the country. When you tell them about a stable kind of structure, for example, KICC, some of them have not even been to Nairobi. So what happens when I visit the CBD sometime, I take a photo of KICC, and when, for example, I'm teaching physics, stability, and how maybe the base area of the structure improves the stability, I show them a real example of a real world example and relating it to the current knowledge that they are learning. So having the mobile phone, taking photos, recording videos, and sharing them with your students is the best way you can integrate ICT in classroom. Of course, along other softwares and advanced technologies that we can use in the classroom.
Take on Tech takes a short break, and when we come back, Maxwell, you'll be telling us the practicality of integrating ICTs in an ordinary school or in marginalized areas. Before we went on a break, you were telling us about curating and integrating ICTs in education. Now, and I still go back to the example of the school where you are. It's a local school. It's a school that may not be very well endowed. So what are the financial implications of using technology in education? And, because you've been using it at Karori, does it increase costs? Or, just take it from there?
Yeah, the initial cost of trying to shift to EduTech can be prohibitive, but in the long run it is cheaper. So at our school you can outsource for a few gadgets. For instance, the government had given schools free tablets under the free laptops for schools. So because schools are a collaboration of different stakeholders, we could go to our neighboring primary schools, borrow the tablets that they were given by the government. Of course, they're also using them, but when they're not using them, we can borrow them, bring them to our school, take them to class. And that interdependencies between stakeholders is very important because it helps to minimize the cost, unlike if we were to go and buy our own gadgets. Beyond that, you become innovative in such a way that if you cannot get what you want, you innovate an alternative to that. So my school students have different backgrounds, socioeconomic challenges, and so sometimes they miss school because of maybe issues to do with the poor economic backgrounds at home. They didn't manage to get fare to school maybe. So as teachers, we encourage our fellow colleagues to, when they're teaching in class, have their phone and a recorder in class. So they record that lesson, save it on video. We have a YouTube channel where lessons are uploaded there so that the students who did not manage to attend your class can be able to go and maybe with time visit the local cyber cafes and watch that. But students who are struggling financially, somebody might want to ask, where do they get the funds to go to the cyber cafe? So through the Ministry of ICT, the school benefited from installation of free internet in our school. So that is one of the main benefactors that the government has given the school, because with free internet, which the school is not able to pay for it, but we have the internet in the school, our learners then can be able to, maybe if at their own free time, they can be allowed to come to school on Saturdays and use the labs probably to go through the lessons, maybe those that missed in the week.
And that's at least for free?
That's at least for free. We don't pay for that.
Right.
And then also we have outsourced for partners. One of our key main partners is the Thick Alumni Trust. The Thick Alumni Trust is an organization based in the UK, which comprises of the former children of the settlers who schooled in Chani High. So they have been able to go back to the UK and they are giving back to the Kenyan society. And they have done quite a number of donations in terms of ICT infrastructure in schools. So one of those schools is Karuri High School. We signed an MOU with them, and they're establishing a 60-desk desktop ICT hub in the school. But before they did that, they left us with some of their gadgets based on what we call the Raspberry Pi technology.
What's that?
Raspberry Pi is what I can call a micro computer that has the capabilities of broadcasting Wi-Fi, but without being connected on the internet. So what it does is that through configurations of a few SIM cards and here, we end up with what we call internet in a box. Internet in a box is simply a database or simply a server that contains anything that you can get on the internet, especially the Wikipedia. We have so many other open educational resources like the Khan Academy. We have the FET simulation labs and all that. And also, because my teachers are empowered to curate digital content, they also curate their own content and put it on the server. So what happens is that the server is stationed somewhere within the school. And because it can be able to broadcast Wi-Fi in a radius of 50 meters, the entire school can access the server wirelessly on devices. And that means that teachers can go to class comfortably without scrambling to want to go to the computer lab so that they can integrate ICT.
Would you say that technology, would technology work in schools that are still struggling with basics, such as electricity, such as gadgets? How is technology going to be integrated?
Yeah, digital divide is real. And due to issues to do with access to infrastructure, like connectivity to the internet and or maybe connectivity to electricity. But you don't need electricity or you don't need internet for you to integrate ICT in schools. That's why I talked of being innovative enough. Radio is one gadget that is almost in all the households within the school. And we can see KICD has been doing a lot of good work with EduTV, giving educational content for free on TV and also on radio. I started by mentioning the mobile phone. Every teacher is equipped with a mobile phone. I think we cannot say there is a teacher who does not have a smartphone in the current century. So teachers, apart from probably using that mobile phone for calling and maybe writing text messages, they can use that as a tool, a very powerful tool indeed, to integrate ICT within their classroom. And of course, with subsidies on some ICT equipment like maybe projectors. I know of organizations that have teamed up with the Ministry of ICT to supply things like projectors to schools at a subsidized cost. So this means they are making those gadgets affordable to schools. What teachers have been doing with regard to virtual classroom is actually one way of going around it. We call that asynchronous type of teaching. We use it virtually. We have the other form, which is asynchronous, whereby now the teacher prepares documents and teaching materials and upload them, let's say, on a learning management system. This is a more of a self-paced learning criteria, such that the student can be able to navigate through the resources by himself. But knowing how to use this technology as a teacher, knowing how to curate content that is well appealing to the learner, because there is that anonymity of the learner not being in the same physical space as the teacher. So there are tendencies of the learner maybe drifting or being maybe the learner being distracted by other things. So as a teacher, he has to be equipped also with how to teach what we call digital literacy for these learners. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Maxwell Kayesi, for gracing Take on Tech. That's it from us from this interview section. My name is Grace Gidaiga. Please continue following us, and let's continue with this debate on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all platforms. Thank you.
Now we take you to the Innovators Club. Today we feature a young, brilliant, innovative mind who has come up with a unique tuition app that allows you who find it difficult to go for evening classes after work, and also for you who loves digital learning. Here is the story of the CEO of Darasa.
Number one method, we'll always be talking about industrial engineering method. We'll always be talking about industrial engineering method. My name is CPA Ringo Frederick, founder and CEO of Darasa. We also have an auditing and accounting firm known as Lead and Associates, which I'm also a partner on the same firm. Darasa is an e-learning platform, which as of now I can say that it has revolutionized the way probably people do their studies online. So basically coming up with Darasa, it was through a personal experience. When I was doing my accounts, that was CPA, I was doing accounts as a part-time student because I was working around industrial area. So I was finding it so hard to come to classes because every time I was coming to class, it was very late. Because the classes usually tend to start around 5:30, but I was finding myself entering the classroom at around 7. So through this experience, I thought and I asked myself, like, what if we come up with a solution that will tend to assist students like me so that they should not suffer in a way of maybe going to classes, finding it so hard to go to classes. So this is where the idea came into place. That was back then in 2014. Majority of our students, we are talking about East Africa. So majority of students actually are from Kenya. Actually also some are from Rwanda. We have students from South Sudan. We have students from Denmark. We also have some students in various courses. We have students in Nigeria, which are kind of undertaking various courses within our application. For you to be a lecturer on Darasa, you'll have to send a request to show an interest of you being part of the team of lecturers on Darasa. And given that Darasa platform, we've kind of widened on our various courses because we have professional courses, we have academic courses, and we have the skill courses. So depending on the course that you want to lecture or the course that you want to train, that will assist us to come with the test that we are going to give you. Whereby, in this case, you normally tend to have roughly like 4 tests before you are given a chance to come and be part of the lecturers team.
Welcome to Darasa. My name is Mr. Kiarie and I lecture Fundamentals of Finance. Last time I was taking you through a topic under Fundamentals of Finance.
To get Darasa phone application, for those who are using Android, you go to Play Store, you search Darasa, you download the app. For those who are using web application, you just go to web.mdarasa.co.ke. Then for the web students, you're going to use a student portal, and for the phone application students, you're going to get a form. This form, after you've downloaded the app, if you are a first user, you need to create your account. On creating your account, you are going to fill in your details, which will include your phone number, your full names, and the password of your choice. Now, after you've completed the process of registration, if you've managed to successfully sign in on the app, our UI is very friendly. The user interface of the app is very friendly. So depending on the course that you want to select, we have a category of courses. Say for example, maybe I need technical courses. You just go to technical courses, then you click technical courses. On clicking technical courses, all the courses are going to be displayed there. If for example you need, say, NEC courses, you'll click NEC courses, then all these courses are going to be displayed there. If you need CASNEB, the same concept, you go and click category CASNEB. If you need kind of practical courses, you go and click practical courses. And on practical courses, this is where you're going to get aspects to do with recipes, aspects to do with web development training. You're going to get them on the app. Now, another process after you've decided which course you want to undertake, there's that aspect of subscription. Say, for example, I've decided that I want to do web application. You've gone to practical, you've gone to web development. Now on web development, before you view anything on the same, there's an area whereby you are going to be requested to unlock that concept, or rather to unlock that course. So you just click unlock, then you follow the procedure. We provided a procedure of making the payment on the app. So after you follow this procedure, currently you are using M-Pesa to do the payments. You can also use our bank accounts, which you have them. So you follow the procedure of making the payment. We have two areas of you being given an access. There are those who will opt to go with direct, whereby if you go direct, you'll just get a prompt on your phone, depending on the course that you've selected. And after you've gotten this prompt, what you do, you just insert your PIN, then that amount will be deducted automatically. For those who will prefer manual, you're going to kind of record the details of payment, then you do it manually. But if you're to do it manually, you'll have to send us a confirmation, then we give you access manually. From there on, you'll be very free to access the content that you have. And basically, we've given a duration of up to 6 months after payment.
And that draws the curtain on today's show. But you know the drill, the conversation never stops. In case you are left out, the question going round is, do you prefer the old school traditional way of learning, or do you prefer the digital way of learning? The hashtag is Take on Tech. Find us across all social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. I've been your host, Stephanie Ayeta. You can get me on Instagram at Stephanie_Ayeta. We meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.